Hello, everybody. We are starting Leviticus today, a new book, the culmination of all that we did in Exodus was the creation of the tabernacle, the Mishkan, which we saw was the meeting tent. You know, we had some questions about the meeting tent. Who was meeting there? Why do they call it a meeting tent? Were the elders meeting there? Nope. It was where Yehovah was meeting with Moses. And it sounds like Joshua too. Well, we're starting with it right now. Let's get started. It says, Leviticus 1. Oh, let me make this big so you can see it a little bit more easily. There you go. It says, now Yehovah called to Moses and spoke to him from the meeting tents. They have tabernacle. Why do they use tabernacle? This is not Mishkan. This is Ohel Moed, which we've seen all along. But this is the new place of the Ohel Moed, the meeting tents. Also, it says now instead of and, which kind of bothers me because it's the first word of Leviticus, a new book. And when we talk about this, the books get their names from the very first word of the books. This happens to say Vayikra. Vayikra. It's where Leviticus comes from. I don't know how that fits together, but Vayikra is the way that they pronounce the first book, and it's based on the first word, which says, and he called. So it really says, and he called to Moses, and Yehovah spoke to him from the meeting tent. That's actually what it says. Now, is it wrong to say, now Yehovah called to Moses? I think and would be better. Yehovah, it's got Yehovah. It's Yehovah talking to Moses. It's just in a different spot. But, I want to look at the differences. Let's look. Let's be critical thinkers. You know what? I want to challenge us, especially as we're starting this new book, to think critically. Knowledge? Understanding? No, let's say it this way. Knowledge leads to better understanding, and better understanding leads us to wisdom. We want to pursue wisdom. We want to get understanding, but you've got to dig deeper to get the knowledge and not the propaganda. Michael, propaganda in the Bible? Yeah, there's propaganda in the Bible. Look at the next verse. It says, speak to Israel's seed. No, speak to the children of Israel. Most of us, we read that, we don't even think about it. Who is the children of Israel? If you've been following me, you know. It's the Ezra men, the spiritually born men. Those who left the kingdom of their birth, joined themselves to Israel as heirs, and then at Passover were circumcised with all the men of their household and became Ezra men. That alone is Israel's seed. I always call Israel's seed. B'nai Israel, Israel's seed. Some say the sons of Israel. That's a better. But, when you start talking about the children of Israel, oh my gosh, now we got women thinking that that's them. We've got to get better understandings. If we sort out some of these kinds of things and understand that B'nai Israel are the Ezra men, it's going to help us greatly. It's going to help us see the truth. Speak to Israel's seed and say to them, when any one of you, y'all is what it says, brings an offering. The word here for offering is this word right here, korban. It's about drawing near to Yehovah. Brings an offering to Yehovah. We're drawing near to Yehovah. That's the whole point of this. When any one of you brings an offering to Yehovah, you shall bring your offering. We're going to talk about that offering a little bit more here of the livestock. What livestock are we talking about? It tells us the herds and the flocks. It's the cattle and the zeon. The flocks are the sheep and the goats. So now he's going to talk about the sheep and the goats and how that relates. Yeah, all these korvanim is the plural form of korban. All these korvanim that we're going to talk about in Leviticus, probably especially the first 5 or 6 chapters, all about drawing near to Yehovah, drawing close to Yehovah. Let's talk about the propaganda that I mentioned. I want you to notice this very next verse. If his korban is an Olah sacrifice, a burnt sacrifice. I have sacrifice in red, like I do all the words that are in red, that are highlighted in red in my Bible here, because they don't exist. It's an added word. Nowhere does it say Olah, burnt sacrifice. It simply says Olah. If his offering, his korban, is a Olah of the herd. So now we're going to talk about the Olah of the herd. But let's mention this sacrifice. Notice I have offering, Olah. Here they have burnt offering, and here they have burnt sacrifice. They're both added words. How come they don't use them the same? Why do they change them? There's an agenda here, you guys. We've got to dig deeper. It's going to show up in this verse still. Look what the next thing says. Let him offer, let him. If his, let him. What does that tell you? We're talking about men. Men. I say it again. I say it all the time. I repeat myself over and over again because I want you to see this. The children of Israel. We're speaking to the children of Israel. Ezra, seed, men, spiritually born men. If his offering, it doesn't say their offering. If his offering is an Olah of the herd, let him offer a male. Now look what it says. It says without blemish. What goes through your mind when you see a male without blemish? Does whole and intact have anything to do with it? Or maybe alive and whole and intact have anything to do with without blemish? We got things we got to learn. Let's talk about the Olah. You know, we're going to read about this today, but we're talking about drawing near to Yehovah. How does an Olah help us to draw near to Yehovah? we're going to see it's a sweet aroma to Yehovah. I want to go to Exodus. Exodus 20, the last 3 verses, specifically the 24 and 25. Look what it says. An altar of earth. This is after we got the 10 commandments. Look, here's the 10 commandments. I am Yehovah, thy Elohim, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other Elohim existing before my face. Down below, the last thing he says before we leave this chapter is an altar of earth you shall make for me. Thou shall make for me, not you, thou. This is a man. Remember, he gave it all the commandments to Israel's seed. That's who he's talking to. No ladies there. No gear there. No servants there. An altar of earth thou shalt make to me. And thou shalt slaughter. Look, they use sacrifice. On it thy Olah. They add offerings. Do you think maybe these are trigger words to turn you away from doing what Yehovah says is good? I think it is. Like Orange Man Dad or mini tweets. Things, it's propaganda. We've got propaganda in our scriptures. Children of Israel. It's all designed to confuse you. And you've got to dig deeper. Let me continue. An altar of earth thou shalt make for me. And thou shalt slaughter on it thy Olah. And thy Shalomim. Thy sheep. And thy oxen. We're going to see thy sheep. It actually says zaon and oxen. So we're talking about sheep and goats, but they just have sheep because, why do people think sheep good, goats bad? Stupid. It's just stupid. We don't know. It's Christian understandings that have led us astray. In every place where I record my name, I will come to you and I will bless you. By doing the Olah, it says record. Let me see. What does it say here? I know I wrote this. Every place where here it is. Yeah. And thou shalt slaughter in it, I'm reading right here, thy Olah and thy Shalomim, thy flocks and thy cattle. In all the places my name shall be remembered. That's what it says. All the places that my name shall be remembered, I will come to thee and bless thee. This is a good thing. Do you want to have Yehovah? Remember, it's about drawing near to Yehovah. Do you want to have him come near to you and bless you? I know I do. And in my new house, I will definitely have an altar on the property, which I will use. I want to receive the blessing of Yehovah when I remember him. This is why we have these korban. Now, let's go back to where we were. Leviticus 3, I think. Yes. So here we're going to talk about the Olah. This is an Olah. Here it says, the first of the korbanim, or offerings, mentioned in Leviticus is the Olah, or elevation offering. It's about rising. It's that which is going up, a sweet aroma to Yehovah, also known as the whole burnt offering. This is an offering of the herd, or flocks, or fowl, with the exception of the hides of the cattle, sheep, and goats, as well as the crops, the gizzards, and the feathers of the birds. The whole of the animals is consumed upon the altar. Here's the word Olah. This is word study. A feminine noun meaning a whole burnt offering. That which goes up. Ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible just simply calls it rising. Rising. A rising of smoke from a burnt offering. I put, it is about that which is going up. Again, sacrifice. The word is added. Now, without blemish. I've got a fly that is driving me crazy. I tried to catch him before I got to you, but I missed him. Thought I got him, but I didn't. Without blemish. A male without blemish. So we're talking about a herd. We're talking about a bull. Now, let me say, we're probably not talking about a big, gigantic bull. We're talking about probably a bull of the first year. Something that is smaller. It's not going to be the gigantic bull. You know, I thought, how do we slaughter these animals in the tabernacle without hurting everybody that's there? They're small animals. They're not big animals. Easy peasy. These are young bulls. Males, of course, without blemish. This word without blemish is the word tamim. Tamim. Tamim means whole and intact, alive and well. It's got its antlers, got its balls. You know, that's one of the things that we have. Our Passover lamb is supposed to be tamim. It's not without blemish necessarily. It's whole. It's whole. That's what it always be, a whole of the first year. Sheep or goat. But it means it's got its antlers. Its horns. Maybe there's a better word for that. I don't know. Antlers, horns. And its balls. You know, that's one of the first things that people that raise goats do is cut off the balls of the male bulls. Can't use those for Yehovah's offerings. Korban. Can't draw near with those. So, there's another word that means without blemish. But it isn't this word, tamim. It's a completely different word. It's called mum. Mum. Why, Michael, are you talking about this so in particular? I got to help you get a better understanding of what's being said here. Most people read through this stuff, they don't even think about it. Oh, I read chapter 1 of Leviticus today. Aren't I good? Did you understand any of it? Did you see any problems with what you read? Is there more to be seen? With respect to this tamim versus mum, I found this verse in Leviticus 20. Notice, before I read this verse in Exodus 20, it says, a male, whole and alive, he, not a she, there are no women do not bring any offerings to Yehovah. None. He shall offer it. He shall bring it of his own free will. His own free will. That is important that we understand that word. Where are they going to bring it? To the door of the tabernacle. No, to the door of the meeting tent before Yehovah's face. We just have before Yehovah. The tabernacle of meeting. It doesn't say the tabernacle of meeting. It says the meeting tent before Yehovah's face. We're going to see that a little bit further here. I think verse 5 or 6. We'll see it again. But let's remember, it's kind of glom onto this tamim, without blemish, they translated it as, instead of whole and alive, and of his own free will. So with that said, now let's go to verse 18 of 20, Leviticus 20. It is on the right-hand side here. Excuse me. It says, speak to Aaron and his sons, and to all Israel's seed, and say to them, any man. Oh, look at this. The Hebrew says, man, ish, ish. There are no lady ish. There's only men ish. Here, look at the definition. A man, as an individual or a male person. Any man, ish, of Israel's house. There are no ladies in Israel's house. There are ladies who are bone of their bone and flesh of their flesh. But they're not men. They're part of the man. Or a ger in Israel. So now we have Israel's house as for men. And the ger, remember that's a ger who dwells with them. Ger in Israel, who brings his korban for any of his vows. Here's the word for vows. It's nadar. For any of his vows. Or any of his free will. There, he's the free will. Here we are, the free will. This is what we're talking about right today. Verse 3. Or any of his free will, which they bring to Yehovah as an Olah. It is, as an Olah. For an Olah. You shall bring of your own free will a male. Okay, that's what we just saw here, a male. Whole and alive. There's tamim. Tamim. Whole and alive. Now, that is my words. I wrote this. This is my translation of this. But I know what it means. We're going to find out what the moon is because of this. From the cattle or the sheep. Or from the goats. Now look what it says. Whatever has a defect, there's the moon. This would be a blemish. If we're going to talk about something with a blemish, this is what we're talking about. But this portion is going to teach us what would be considered a blemish. Let's keep reading. You shall not bring it. Whatever has a mum, you shall not bring it. Okay, now that makes us think, oh, well, we can't bring a free will offering that has a mum. We can't bring a vow offering that has a mum. But we've got to dig deeper. You shall not bring it, for it shall not be acceptable on your behalf. If a man brings a slaughtered shalamim to Yehovah to accomplish a vow or a free will. There it is, vow or free will. Now we're talking about the shalamim. We're going to talk about the shalamim 2 weeks from today. In beeves, cattle. What are the words they use for beeves? Bakar, probably, bakar. Or flocks, za'un. It must be whole. There it is, tamim, to be accepted. But now look what it says. It must be completely without blemish. There's the mum. Now let's keep reading. There's still more. We got to dig deeper. Engage your thoughts. This is very important that we understand this. Those that are blind. Look at this. Now he's going to tell us what mum means. Mum means, what does it mean? Those that are blind or broken or maimed. They have a broken leg. They got a leg that's been severed by an animal, perhaps, or an ulcer or eczema or scabies or scabs. You shall not bring these to Yehovah and burn them on the altar to Yehovah. Either a bull or a sheep or a goat that has any limb too long. There's more of the reasons for a mum, a limb too long or too short. You may offer as a free will. You may offer as a free will. You may offer as a free will, but for a vow. Now, either the bull or the sheep or the goat that has any limb too long or too short, you may offer as a free will or as a free will. So you can use it for a free will offering. Not about mum. We're not talking about mum today when we're talking about the Olah. Okay, that's what I want you to see. But for the vow, it shall not be accepted. You shall not bring to Yehovah what is bruised or crushed or cut in your land. You shall not make. Do you see? If I was to go to this word mum in Exodus 20, they're going to put without blemish. But here they put without blemish. And so if we're talking about without blemish, when we're confusing the two words, we don't get the right picture. So what am I saying? We have a goat, male goat, just been born. But he's got a leg shorter than the others. He's not going to do well with the other goats. He's probably going to be picked on. It's end in his demise anyway. No, we could eat it. No problem. But we can also bring it as an Olah to Yehovah. You say, well, we're going to bring Yehovah something that has a short leg. Bruised or crushed or cut. Blind. Eczema, ulcer. Yeah, we can. We can use it. We can eat it. Or we can bring it to Yehovah and remember him and have him come and bless us. But you can't do that for a vow. With a vow, it's got to be an animal that is in really good condition. Expected to have a very healthy life. Okay, I'm trying to help you understand what the Olah, Korban, is all about. It's the sweet aroma that's going to be going up to Yehovah, that's going to result in us being blessed by Yehovah. Do you want to be blessed? I want to be blessed. He shall offer it of his own free will. It's a free will offering at the door of the meeting tent before Yehovah's face. So now we're talking about where we're going to kill it. This says before Yehovah, at the door of the meeting tent. This sounds like it's going to be killed between the door of the meeting tent and the bronze altar, kind of next to the water place. I'm spacing out on what that is right now. Because we're going to see that the sheep and goat are going to be killed in a different spot. Now again, these are not big animals that we're offering. You're not going to bring your bull, going to tear out the place, into there and try and slaughter a gigantic bull. Someone's going to get hurt. No, these are small animals. Still a male, still whole and alive, but small. Let's continue. No, actually, let's, I think I've got a little bit more here that I want to cover. Yeah, I do. Here, it's talking about korban. So again, here's the korban. A generic title for an offering is a korban. To draw near, I guess we talked about that already. So let's continue. Verse 4. Then he again, he shall put his hand on the head of the Olah. They're calling the bull an Olah. That is not a bull, that's an Olah. He's putting his hand on the head of the bull Olah. And it will be accepted on his behalf to make a covering for him. They put atonement. How confusing is this? It's about making a covering for yourself. You know, some of the offerings we bring is because, like a kata'ah, is the sin offering. We've done something wrong, and now we have that kind of separation from Yehovah. The kata'ah brings us back into union with Yehovah so that we are together with him. We're drawing near. It's making a covering. This is making a covering for us. He, verse 5, shall shakat the bull. Remember, it says before Yehovah. Here's the word shakat. Shakat. He shall kill the bull. Then it says before Yehovah. It doesn't say before Yehovah. It says really before Yehovah's face. Before Yehovah's face. This word right here, pelagash, or here, what is it? Oh, I can't do it that way. I got to do it this way. There we go, a little bit further. Panim. But this has got the yod on, kind of like Israel's seed. This is Yehovah's face. Same sentence structure or structure in the noun. Again, face. This is ancient Hebrew lexicon Bible translated as face, also concrete face. So this is talking about where we're going to kill it. And the reason I say this is about where we're going to kill it, because when we do the sheep and the goat, we're going to see it's not before Yehovah's face. It's going to be in a different place. Let's keep watching. He shall kill the bull before Yehovah's face. And the priests, Aaron's seed, this is Aaron's seed. It doesn't say Aaron's sons. If we didn't know better, we would say he's got 4 sons right now. But we know better. He's only got 2 sons right now. Nadab and Abihu, the 2 eldest sons, already died. I know it because I know what the rest of the scriptures say. They died the same day that the tabernacle was put up. The Mishkan was put up. The Mishkan, the meeting tents. They died that day. So there's only 2 sons right now, but we're not talking about his sons. We're not talking about Eleazar and Ithamar. We're talking about his seed. They're the priests. This is going to go on perpetually, and all of Aaron's seeds are going to do these kinds of things. Multiple generations of Aaron's seed shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood all around the altar that is by the door of the meeting tent. And he shall skin the Olah. Skin the Olah. Why do we skin the Olah? and cut it into pieces. Again, they had offerings. No offering in here. It simply says skin the Olah. In fact, I probably have it. The priest who offers anything, I guess this is Leviticus 7. But this is good. We should talk about this. The priest keeps the skin for himself. Or the skin might be burnt. Well, look what it says here. And the priest who offers anyone's Olah, that priest shall have for himself the skin of the Olah which he has brought. Oh, so look at that. The priests get the benefit, and it's kind of like the recompense for the job that they're doing. They're going to get the skin of the beast. What can you do with the skins? You can make all kinds of things. Garments, whatever, shoes. Side business. And he shall skin This is the man who's killing the animal. This is not the priest. This is the man who's going to kill his own animal. He shall skin the animal and cut it into pieces. Now it says, and Aaron's seed. They say the sons of Aaron. No, Aaron's seed. Multiple generations of the seed of Aaron. The priests shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood in order on the fire. Israel's seed does not touch the altar. They have Aaron's sons of priests. This is exactly what it says. Aaron's seed. This is B'nai Aaron. Aaron's seed. The priests. That's exactly what it says. Shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood on the altar. Again, nobody touches the altar but the priests. Now it says, or I guess then, let's see if it says and or then. I don't know if it's going to say that or not. Then the priests, there it is, the priests, Aaron's seed, the priests, the Kohanim, Aaron's seed, shall lay the parts, the head, and the fat in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the altar. But he shall wash its entrails and its legs with water. This is Israel's seed is going to wash its entrails and its legs with water. You know, where do we get the water? Does it come from the laver? You're going to need a heck of a lot of water from the laver. Is there a spigot on it? You put the guts underneath it and wash them off? I don't know how that works. It seems like there's more going on, more needed in this area where the slaughter is taking place than what we're being told. I'm just trying to figure out how you'd work this all out. What do I have here? Verse 9. And he shall wash its entrails and its legs with water. And the priest shall burn all on the altar as an olah. Remember, they added sacrifice. They added an offering made as an olah by fire. That's what it says. As an olah by fire. A sweet aroma, a sweet fragrance, a sweet savor to Yehovah. That's all we have to say about the bulls. Now we're going to talk about the flocks, the sheep, and the goats. Let's see what it says. It's going to be very similar. If his korban is of the flocks, the ze'on, or ha-tamim, the goats, the sheep. Well, no, the flocks. No, I'll take it back. This is the flocks, the sheep. There are the goats. But there's the other word, without blemish. They use the same word. They've translated it as without blemish. But what's the word? Tamim. Alive and whole. He shall bring his male alive and whole. Can it have a mom on it? Yes, it can. Not a problem for an Olah. Trying to help you understand this. He shall kill it, shakat it. But look what it says, on the north side of the altar. As you come in, the tent, the court, right in front of you, you've got the altar, bronze altar, where your animal's going to be burned up. And then right behind the altar is the tent door. But this says on the north side of the altar. So when we go to the altar, we're going to hang a right. And we're going to do it alongside the fence there on the right side of the altar, which is the north side of the altar. But still says before Yehovah's face. So it's all considered before Yehovah's face, but not in the same place. And the priests, Aaron's seed, not sons. This does not say sons. This is Aaron's seed. Shall sprinkle its blood all around the altar. I've got, what do I have here? Let's see what we have here. I don't remember looking at this. Oh, I just got a deal, yeah. Remember that the tabernacle faces east, so the north is going to be on the right side as you enter. All right. 12. And he shall cut it into its pieces with its head and its fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the altar. On the wood which is on the fire, it's on the altar. That word fire is Isha. I think that's kind of interesting that it's the same word for woman. Why is that? Spelled exactly the same. And he shall wash the entrails and the legs with water. Then the priest shall bring it all and burn it on the altar. It is an Olah, fire, a sweet aroma to Yehovah. Again, sacrifice is not there. An offering made is not there. It's just added. Is it possible that the Catholic Church, remember that's where the Christian Church comes from, doesn't want you to do things? Again, these are propagandized words. Sacrifice, an offering made by fire. They don't want you to do that. Oh, don't you know that's all passed away? Oh, really? Is that what you think? You've learned lies. We've had talks in the past about where the New Testament comes from. Who created this golden calf? Let's continue. Now we're going to talk about birds. And if the Olah is of his korban, there it is, korban, his korban, this says his right here, that Bob, his korban to Yehovah is of birds. Then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or young pigeons. Of turtle doves or young pigeons. Does he have to bring more than one? I don't think so. He can bring it of the turtle doves or he can bring it of the pigeons. The priest shall bring it to the altar. Oh, look, now the priest is actually going to be the one who's going to shakat it. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off its head, and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained on the side of the altar, and he shall remove its crop. That's not the priest. I think it's the man. He shall remove its crop after the priest has killed it, and its feathers, and cast them beside the altar on the east side of the altar. Same side of the altar that we're going to kill the animals on, the sheep and the goats, into the place of ashes. So when they clean out the altar, they put the ashes there, and then they're going to move them away later on from the altar to us, but outside the camp. Here's Leviticus, and he shall remove the crop, the gizzard. That's what the gizzard is. The gizzard is the place where it's got rocks and mainly rocks, something to break up the food and so that the chicken can eat it. So we don't want to have those rocks going into the fire. They're foreign objects. With its feathers, and shall throw it near the altar eastward to the place of the ashes. That was LIV, Living International Version, I guess, or Literal International Version, or literal version. There we go. 17. We're almost done. We are done. And he shall split it at the wings, but shall not divide it completely. And the priest shall burn it on the altar, on the wood that is on the fire. It is an Olah, a fire, a sweet aroma to Yehovah. Well, I hope this gives you some better knowledge and understanding about Yehovah's Olah offerings, korban, those things that help us to draw near to him. Next time, we're going to be talking about the minka. Here it is, the grain. They call it the grain offering. Some call it the meat offering. Oh my gosh. Such confusion. Well, hey, thank you for joining me today, and we'll catch you next week. Oh, I should tell you, today, what is the date today? Today is October 19th, is the first day of Sukkot. Israel's seed only dwells, not their ladies, only Israel's seed dwells in Sukkots, temporary dwelling places for these 7 days. If you want to learn more, go here. This is my website, weareisrael.org. Right now I've got the Hebrew calendar on the front page. And if you go all the way down to the bottom to the Tabernacles, Sukkot, you can click on that, and there's 3 articles that will help you understand who it is that is going to dwell in temporary dwelling places for these 7 days. Well, so that makes today a double Sabbath for me. Hey, thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Well,
hang on.